Hey, good evening. We're doing a rapid Bible study from 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 7 through 16 from the book Sharing Jesus Your Fear. And last night was pretty cool. I'm reading the text. It says, husbands, in the same way, consider your life with your wives and treat them with respect. And the weakest quarters is theirs with you of the gracious gift of the life, so that nothing will hinder your prayers. Finally, with all of you, be like-minded. Be sympathetic, love one another, be compassionate and humble. Do not repay evil with evil or insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing, because to you were called, so there are many inherit a blessing. Whoever loves and seeks good days must keep their tongue from evil, and their lips from deceitful speech. They must turn from evil and do good. They must seek peace and pursue it. For the eyes of the Lord are the righteous, and his ears are attentive to their prayer. The face of the Lord is against those who do evil. Who is going to harm you if you are eager to do good? But even you should suffer for what is right, you are blessed. Do not fear their threats, do not be frightened. But if your hearts revere Christ as Lord, and always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect, keeping a clear conscience, so those who speak malice against you, your good behavior in Christ, may be ashamed of their slander. So last night we did some Bible study, and it became a talk. And, you know, when you think about this text and the book asks, are you willing to give your faithfulness? Are you willing to testify and talk to somebody else about Christ? And we thought about it, and it was like so many things came up that we don't talk because of fear, of rejection. We don't talk because how our family may feel about us. And we don't talk because we may not feel like we know enough to tell somebody about Jesus. And that was the key point, that we don't feel like we know enough. We don't feel like we're good enough. We don't feel like we're worthy enough. But sometimes it's just you saying hello. It may even be just a hug. Sometimes you just got to step out in faith and know that God is calling you to something bigger, because somebody came to you because they saw a light that you had. And this text reminded me that Peter and them had to go through some stuff to find Jesus. And they kept going back at the end of this to Calvary. And I kept wondering, like, why do we keep going back to Calvary? But I realized you started the source. If you don't have Jesus, you don't have him die for you, you don't have him give his life for you, you have no testimony. And that's the fact of the text, that we don't have nothing without Jesus until we realize that we are the light of the world. Your words, your testimony are the only Bible that somebody may ever see. You may be the only person that somebody ever hear, because a lot of people ain't going to church anymore. A lot of people we talked about COVID last night, that how we shut down the whole world for COVID. We stopped going to work, we stopped going to school, we stopped going to church. Except the ones who was essential workers, they had to keep going. And fortunately, I was an essential worker, that I had to keep going, that I didn't have the fear that other people had. And the funny thing about it is, I started the world stop around me, but I also saw that while I was out working, the same people who was running from COVID, couldn't go to work, couldn't go to church, was at the club, they was at the malls, they was at the grocery stores, they was hanging out in the parks, they was walking to their job. How are you that scared? That you don't shut down your whole life, and you don't shut out God, but you are thankful for everything else. You can do everything else, but you can't worship God. And that's what I'm saying. God is saying that you are witness. If you can't do it for him, you can't do it for nobody else. And I know I'm sitting here studying and thinking, I'm in the point right now to tell you going, and I'm like, man, I see all the beauty around me. If it had not been for the Lord on my side, just to have another day to do this, to come on here and give a recap of what happened last night, I wouldn't have joy this morning. But I'm thankful that he gave me another chance, another opportunity to tell somebody about Jesus. So when you think about this text, tell somebody about Jesus. Let them know that I'm trying to love my neighbors. But I first had to learn how to love me first. See, you love yourself, you can't love nobody else. Love yourself and then love your neighbors. Treat people like you want to be treated. This is what the text is telling us. We got to be righteous. We got to be like Christ-like. We'll never be Christ. But try to be Christ-like, because you're still human. You still going to fall, but every time you fall, get up. And that's my key word today. Keep pushing, keep striving. Keep letting God use you, because somebody that talks to you about Jesus, I mean, you got a light to shine. And I'm telling you today, just keep shining.